All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Show and Tell. Everything happened all at the last second here. Packages, text messages, you name it. Everybody decided. I even have like a headphone. I'm listening to like a Nine Inch Nails album. So, okay, Lamore's gonna tell you. I don't even have my microphone on. Neither do you. Hi. I got a pretzel. That's stuff. Anyways, welcome to Show and Tell, everybody. It's live.
Hi, it's me, Lady Ada.
Yeah.
With me, Mr. Lady Ada, broadcasting live. As you can tell, obviously.
There's a giant storm here, and I had to pull everything in. Anyways, we're back. We're doing Show and Tell. For the next 30 minutes, you're going to be delighted, amused, and super happy about some of the projects we're going to show and share. I have to post where this is so people can see it and join.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about things in the first person?
Okay. Can you get JP in?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think we should, yeah. So we also have members of our team.
Right.
That show stuff.
Well, come on by. The link is going to be in Discord in like
it's there.
1 second.
No, it's there. It's there. It's going to be in more places.
It's there.
And show and share your projects. You get a preview of all the cool things that Adafruit is about to maybe launch or show. They're all great. Jepler has a really cool project we're going to be publishing some fun things about later. But first, let's start with JP.
Hey, JP.
Hey.
What are you up to?
I'm up to more video game emulation shenanigans on the Fruit Jam.
Yeah.
This right here is a Sega Genesis.
Were you a Sega Genesis kid or a Nintendo kid?
No, I was an Atari guy and then a bit of a Nintendo guy. And I got my first Sega Genesis after college. And I got it like a year before the Saturn came out. So I sold it and bought the Saturn. And then eventually got a Dreamcast and all the others. But I barely had a Genesis, but there's some amazing games on it. And they're all like look awesome. Like they went.
The graphics were amazing.
The graphics are great, like crazy color palettes. They were just trying to like outdo Nintendo. So they just did like more. And yeah, it could throw like big sprites at the screen. It also had the very nice FM synthesis on board with the Yamaha chip. So cool console, but I was not. Yeah, I am now. I mean, I'm a man of all game consoles now. But so on our Fruit Jam, this game you're seeing here, or this screensaver you're seeing here, is box art from a whole bunch of Genesis games or Mega Drive games if you're not from North America. And it's all running on the Fruit Jam here using the emulator that Frank Hodemacher's ported from a couple of different Genesis projects onto the RP2350 and Fruit Jam specifically. So this has got a bunch of games on it. Well, not a bunch, just a few games I put on it. On an SD card on the Fruit Jam, and then you can go through this little menu and pick something. I'll do Sonic.
Classic Sonic.
Then it'll launch the ROM file.
Wow, it looks good.
It looks really nice. I've got the sort of pseudo scan lines turned on right now, so it's a little dimmer than it would be without those, but I can't remember how you turn them off.
Is that on purpose to like sort of emulate the?
Yeah, it has an optional like let's pretend there's scan lines if you're on an LCD kind of thing.
Okay, cool. Wow.
And there it is.
It's full speed too.
It's full speed. In fact, the previous cut I was using was a beta, and it had a little FPS counter, and this was always running at 60 or 61 frames a second on Sonic with all that.
On our Fruit Jam?
On the Fruit
Jam.
Our
Fruit Jam, right? Another neat thing is that there's this officially licensed. Where's the camera? Officially licensed. That's terrible.
Oh, cool.
Genesis controller that Retrobit makes, and it's USB. It's a 6-button, and then it's got like a mode switch here, I think maybe for doing like direct control. But that is a great controller, so it plays beautifully. The emulator just does ABC. It doesn't do the 6-button stuff, and I don't know which games want that. But here you go. I'm running around.
Yeah, to be honest, it's like you only want Altered Beast and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Altered Beast and Sonic the two.
So, come on.
Selling games.
JP, do you have for your show? Do you have a HDMI into your computer?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you could probably do some fun stuff with like you and your show.
Yeah.
Input from the Fruit Jam coming in.
Yeah, that's
the thing that I have to remind people. Like this is on a TV, anything HDMI, so it's not.
Yeah, this is and I'll tell you what. I'm glad you mentioned that because something I just tried the other day, and I'm going to do something on the show tomorrow with this. Is we have this HDMI to VGA adapter in the store, Adafruit shop, and it's like $20 or something like that. This works great. If you try to go HDMI to composite or to component to go onto your little CRTs, it's kind of bad with the inexpensive. This works really well. Inexpensive HDMI to VGA, which I'll bring out a big old 19-inch VGA CRT monitor tomorrow and plug this into it. But this is also just the beginnings of other scalers. So downscaling that to really run at like 480i is possible and looks really good if you have the right equipment. So anyway, I'm kind of jazzed about this because usually I've been disappointed going HDMI into older displays, but this stuff looks really good on.
No, it looks really good, and the rendering looks beautiful. I didn't realize that the Genesis was so, I don't say easy to emulate, but I was surprised. Like I know Nintendo, we've gotten that working on like a Cortex M4, but I didn't know the Genesis was possible as well. There's also what was the game that was like, it wasn't Gauntlet, but there was like another game where you were. Oh,
well, there was the 3 Vikings. It's like a puzzle game with 3 little Viking guys, and each has.
No, it was like a fighting game, but it had like gigantic sprites again, and it was like.
I don't remember.
A big sprite game.
But yeah, anyway, I feel like ups like Streets of Rage and stuff like that are awesome.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah, there was some like Street Fighter, I think.
Yes, Street Fighter 2
was good on the Genesis. Like, okay, but definitely like you got the Sonic Altered Beast. And then audio also works. I know you obviously don't have it on now because
audio works. It's a little crackly, but I can turn it back.
Oh yeah, Gemma's Golden Axe. That was it. Yeah, Golden Axe was another. I think that was one that was good on the Genesis because they could do the graphics. It was like a very graphicsy game. Like it was,
You can hear a little bit of the music there. It's got a bit of a crackle to it, and that may be something that's just unavoidable. Trying to emulate that FM synth, or it might be something that Frank's able to.
Yeah.
Or other people are able to.
So for everyone out there, I think if you were into something like the Playdate, or if you're like, I want to do a retro arcade thing, but like I don't have space for a giant arcade, and like you have a TV that does nothing but be mean. This is a thing that you can make and plug in, and it can work on a computer, it can work on a TV. You can use all these controllers. I guess this is probably the only open source console that does anything like this right now.
I don't know of any other open source hardware that has done all this. So we've got the Mac Classic emulation, Apple II emulation, Nintendo, Game Boy, Commodore 64.
And I think for this stuff,
actually like starting to become like a good
really good, and it's such a neat little package because a lot of the emulators out there will run on like, hey, here's a breadboard plus this plus that and some wires and
Well, the other thing is it was important for us to make it open source because the whole reason we could do all these things is because other people did open source. So I get it that there's a lot of retro-y stuff that it's all open source wrapped up and then all the open source disappears because it's a blob or whatever. But it's important to us to continue to light that torch because it's bright and it's fun. So
so for example, the Fruit Jam and this emulator, when I was first testing it, worked great with our little inexpensive USB SNES-like controller. It did not work with this really gorgeous Sega one, and I emailed Frank and he said, hold on, I'll buy one. And like 2 days later he had and that's the kind of
this is the thing. And as we watch the world try to find community and stuff, there is one, and it's electronics, and people do this with one another, and they do open source. So it is hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So, JP, I guess tomorrow you're going to show all this and more.
Yeah, I do like that. This you don't need Linux for. I mean, I know people are like, oh, you can just go to Raspberry Pi, but it's like this will run forever. You never have to worry about like the SD card corruption.
If you like and use Linux, you know about all this stuff already. We're talking about everyone else, and if you want to get people into Linux, trust me, get them into this first. Don't get them into Linux first because they're not going to do that.
Here's time. Time
Time
from off to playing a game is probably like 30 seconds with this. Like
I like that we have
ready. The menu's up. I can go. It's checked and I'm playing. So
playing.
It's so fun.
That's what.
It's like there's no F disking at all. Okay,
Very
cool.
Thanks, JP. Good demo. All right. Well, I kind of hyped it up a bit.
Speaking of
Jepler,
we've brought
Hello
many
there.
emulators to life.
Yeah, so I've got a black window for you. This is what we're going to see here is booting into a 286 emulator with Turbo XT BIOS. And I've just got a couple of games here, but this is an emulator for kind of that classic early DOS PC world. It supports some CGA modes, some EGA modes, some VGA modes. It at least supports the speaker beep. I don't know if it supports other audio beyond that. And I've added support for just standard keyboard. So here is one of the games that I've found that works. It's called Joust, and it uses 256 color VGA. Look at all these colors.
Wow, that's a lot.
And they were just so
colors.
excited to have this many colors back in
Whoa.
19XDX.
Yeah.
And if we get into the game, it's got a few sound effects. Let's see. Let's start the game.
Oh, memory.
That is so fun.
Yes.
Yeah, that's as good as the audio was. Right? Like,
I feel like
That's
it
how
cost
it
me 25
was.
cents. It cost me $0.25.
So anyway, this is kind of the point that I got it to today after working on it
Wow.
this week. But this is based on Pico 286 by XRip, which is on GitHub. And if you do a little GitHub sleuthing, you can probably find my fork for Fruit Jam. And you
Yeah.
load a floppy image onto your SD card and boot it up and you're in DOS. And Bob's your uncle.
It's so
And
cool
we're gonna
because you can
try
do
and-
little cartridges that look like SD cards. Everything.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and find some more games that work on it and pass that info along, and we will kind of smooth off the rough edges and make a guide coming up.
yeah. This is interesting because
There's the pterodactyl.
we were talking about like emulators, and like I was saying, like a Nintendo emulator is really classic, and even like the Game Boy emulator is pretty standard. But 286, like x86 emulators for microcontrollers are not, because usually it's kind of hard to emulate, or there's not a lot of support for x86 emulation because there's like so much side effect that you were talking about, like, oh, the video modes are like, it's not like Nintendo emulation where it's like, look, the buffer is going to be this big always and the sound system is always going to be this. With these PCs, it's like you can really do different configurations and setups. And
yeah, there were a number of different video modes in particular, and this supports just one fixed pixel resolution, so it can't switch to some of those other video modes.
Yeah, which is like, because it's like people would abuse the heck out of hardware. That was like the joy of x86. But I think, like, even like the Mac was not them saying the Mac was easy, but it's like we got pretty much everything except audio. There's some audio stuff that we didn't get going, but a lot more stuff worked because it wasn't as hacky. It's kind of interesting to I'm surprised. Like, I'm not surprised that a lot of people haven't done x86 emulators for microcontrollers, but I'm pleased that like 286 is not bad. Like
once you get to 286 with microcontrollers, there's so much stuff out there, not games.
Yeah.
That people are going to be able to do, and it's just going to work. You have to worry about Windows rug pulling your Windows 10 out.
Yeah.
Rug pulling.
Okay. All right. Try more stuff, and then report back. And then when it's looking really good, we'll do a guide and document.
Make sure you register Mario Brothers VGA.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know if Dave's email address is in there, but you should definitely send him a couple bucks if you put a couple hours into Mario.
I just remember, like, because I was talking to Phil. I remember there was this game I played on the Mac Classic, which I can't remember now what it was, but I remember you would talk to characters, and the character would say, "Please send." You talk to them, and then like once every 10 chats, they would say, "Send $5 to like this address," and it would be like an address in Waukesha, Wisconsin. You know what I mean? It was like
P.O. Box.
Whoever moved into that house, they have a gold mine there.
I know, right? But it was like,
maybe
you would open up software, and the first image would be like, "Thanks for using the shareware. If you like it, send $5 in an envelope to like Dave."
We should show up and ask for some game support. Just be like, "Hey, I'm having a hard time with level 7."
It's like,
hey, Dave.
I
really
want to go back
world.
to that world. It was a neat world.
It was a different.
You know what?
It was a different.
You
time.
can't go back, but we can go forward and bring all the good things with us, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
for sure.
There was downsides though. It's like, my dad has some software that he runs that would ping back a server, and the guy died. Like, he eventually got old enough and he died. He had a good life, but the software doesn't work. And my dad's like, I actually really liked the software, and I was still using it, but it was 30 years later, right? So it's like, it's interesting, this software dependent on one person is both really cool, but also has some downsides.
True.
Yeah.
Software shouldn't phone home. It would have been fine otherwise.
I know, that was, and I was like, could I hack it? But then he found some other software that did something similar, but it was like, he's like, I've been using it for 35 years.
I like the folks that they're setting up like proxies. They buy the old URLs. They have like a fake thing that does whatever protocol.
I would have totally done that.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. There's like servers and their only job is to pretend to be like an old video game server from 20 years
Mhm.
ago.
But there's actually like a challenge response, and this guy went into way too much. You know, it's like the joke about Apple II software is like that most of Apple II software development was copy protection. It wasn't actually like writing the game. It was like,
Yeah, well, most of hardware and software development is lawyers now too, so nothing's changed
it's true.
except
Right.
for open source.
Except for this. Yep. It's up on GitHub.
Yeah.
You can find it if you
Yeah, you
sleuth
didn't
a
have
little.
to check with PR. You just did it. You don't check with PR. You make PRs. All right.
I make
All right.
PRs.
Thanks, Jeps.
All
Ciao. See you again
All right.
soon.
All right, Noe, what you got going on this week?
Hey folks, yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, I did the case for the fruit jam, and then I've been working on a Mac Classic inspired 3D printed enclosure. So I have it here.
Yes.
Oh,
So it's got the iconic handle in the back. We got the fruit jam right here, of course. We have a little speaker front here. Of course, you got to have the Adafruit logo there.
yeah.
And then my favorite thing is I was able to use one of the SD card extensions to mount it into it. So it actually has the SD card in there as the SD card. Also have a little latch lock door thing so you can access the fruit jam.
Right.
Fruit jam in there. It's mostly air and a couple wires.
Well, better than having a high
display-
voltage thing. We could like add a high voltage thing just for fun. You know?
right. The display
You
is
could probably make an
800
aquarium.
by 400 display, so that's a nice little display. And I have I think Mac Paint running on here. I did a little show and tell fruit jam with the Apple logo there, Mac Paint.
Actually,
course,
I guess it
design
is time
is
to
a
revisit
passion.
the Mac Aquarium stuff because
I
you can
know.
do it now.
Yeah.
Do you know about this? No,
Oh
people
yeah,
just-
of course. Yeah, you can take your classic Mac enclosure and turn it into an aquarium and
yeah.
have real fishes inside of it.
You can't do that now because people would be like, that's not good for your, you'd get canceled
For what?
because it's not fish need to have more space.
But what if you eat the fish live?
I think that's fine.
Maybe put tadpoles in there.
It's even worse. You can make little 3D printed fish.
Of course.
That's true. You
Yes,
can just do
you
the
could do
little-
that.
little
Yeah,
rubber.
it's all Lego has a aquarium. Maybe you can turn it into a
Yeah,
Lego
Lego fish.
aquarium. Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
great.
so I'm working on this.
So
I have a
cute.
guide. Oh, there's my fish.
I like the little cards. That's nice.
That's
The
cute.
little fish, they're coming. Yeah,
I
so
was-
shout out to Jeff, of course, for making the Pico Mac emulator.
Yeah,
This is
Pico Mac
awesome.
emulator.
I was thinking about technology that's named after people, and I ran into a problem with Apple Macintosh because it's an Apple, and Macs were apples. Macintosh apples were named Macintosh apples were named after a person, but is the computer named after a person? No, but the apple that it was named
Oh, it's
after
like
that.
2 layers.
So what do? I'm just gonna keep scrolling.
All right. Cool.
But it's not named after a person.
It's not technically.
It's named after an apple.
the Lisa was, although he said it wasn't, but it's like, wow, weird. You
Oh,
just
that's right.
picked it to the same name as your daughter. That's really bizarre. Like a weird coincidence there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like weirdo.
Yeah, maybe we should name computers after people. Okay, listen, learn. All right, folks, that's
All right. Thanks,
Cool.
Noe.
right.
Looking
Okay.
good.
okay. That's our show for tonight because we just got to staff, folks, and then we're going to gear up for. We're probably going to try to do some guides and some new product because we're on this different schedule. By the way, we're having a kid in less than 30 days, so from here down
It's big.
is just a bunch of dessert that's found a home.
I know.
So let's go eat and then let's go do some more electronics. And shit.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I gotta know.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for my show and tell.
Hi, everybody.